Welcome everybody. I'm so glad you're in my kitchen today. We're here to make my famous homemade Bolognese sauce. And it's awesome. You're gonna love it. And I'm gonna ask my son Kenny to tell you a little bit about the ingredients we're gonna use.
You know guys, a lot of people, they think that throwing a little bit of ground beef inside your sauce or gravy is making you a Bolognese. Well, I can tell you right now, that's definitely not a Bolognese. My mother's Bolognese comes with 5 different meats. It simmers for hours on the stove, and I think that you are gonna absolutely love it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get all set up, and the first thing is we're gonna give you all the ingredients. But before we start, I definitely want to acknowledge some of my sponsors here of Live, Laugh, and Cook Italian, which is Booze Blog, Bono Olive Oil from Shark of Sicily, and of course, for people who follow me on social media, you know I just became a brand ambassador and regional representative of Lily's Fresh Pasta Company. So today, we're going to be putting our Bolognese sauce on their famous fresh homemade pappardelle. When we come back, I'm going to give you all those ingredients for you to make a fantastic Bolognese sauce. Okay, everyone. Okay, everyone. Here we are. And like I told you, there's a lot of ingredients that go into a truly authentic Bolognese sauce. And I'm going to go over all of them. But don't forget, you can go to every video, go to that description box, click down, pull it down, and all these ingredients are always listed there in all my videos. So you don't have to run and get a pen. You can go back later, click that box, and it'll all be written down, portioned out for you. But our 5 meats, okay? That's 1.5 pounds of 80/20 ground beef. That's 1.5 pounds of ground pork. That's 1 pound of ground veal. That's 2 Italian sausages taken out of the casing, and 4 ounces of finely chopped pancetta. Just the word pancetta gets me excited, okay? Now, we have 1.5 cups of whole milk. We have 2 cups of red wine, which was made by our very good friend Mimi. We have 3 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of extra concentrated tomato paste, 2 bay leaves, 2 teaspoons of bouillon-based beef. We use better than bouillon. It's really good. You could also use beef broth, or you could use a beef bouillon cube if you wanted. If you can get your hands on this beef bouillon better than bouillon, we recommend that. This is 1 28-ounce can of DOP San Marzano imported tomatoes that we've sent through the food processor. We've got 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and this is our Battuto. This is a medium carrot, 2 ribs of celery, and 1 onion, chopped coarse. And what we're going to do is we're going to dump this out, we're going to chop it really fine, and we're going to start a Battuto with this. And for anyone who knows, a Battuto is the base for a lot of great Italian sauces. Alright? We also have 2 bay leaves, we have some fresh ground pepper, some sea salt, and of course at the end, that fresh nutmeg that we're going to grate in. Okay? There's a lot going on here. And how we're going to start, I'm going to let my mother explain because there's no one better than her.
Okay everyone, so I'm going to take this butter and I'm going to melt it in the pan till it's nice and foamy. Then we're going to add the finely chopped vegetables. We're going to add the sausage and the pancetta. And we're going to cook that and break that sausage up till it's nice and small pieces. And we're going to continue to cook this on very low, a good 20-25 minutes until the vegetables are nice and soft. You don't want them to brown, you just want them to be nice and soft. So that's where we're going to start.
So, guys, as you can see, a true Bolognese sauce is something that's made with love. Alright, and that's how we're going to make it today. So what we're going to do, we're going to get ready behind me, we're going to switch our cameras around, and when we come back, we're going to be making our Battuto. And guys, just so you know, chopping this Battuto, it takes a few minutes. But you want to chop all of these together, because this is part of the flavor incorporation, part of making the Battuto. So as my mother is getting the butter nice and foamy back there, I'm chopping. Alright? Chop away, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Okay, so we have our butter here that's nice and foamy, and we're going to add our vegetables.
Nice. And you see how finely chopped those vegetables are.
And then we're gonna add in our pancetta.
Thank you.
And then we're gonna add in our sausage. And what we wanna do is we wanna break this sausage up so that it gets into nice fine little pieces. So Kenny, I'm gonna have you
Sure.
put that.
Sure.
And we're on
Yeah.
a medium heat.
Just so you guys know, my mother had hand surgery like 5 weeks ago, and I was like, Mom, you ready to make the video? She goes, of course I'm ready to make the video. My mother's a trooper, guys. She just got her cast off last Friday, and she's already here making Bolognese with us. So,
Gotta keep busy, gotta keep going.
but this is real important to make sure that you get all of this sausage broken up, because the last thing you want is to have chunks in there. You know, a true Bolognese, the meat is so soft and tender and so fine. This is how you're gonna get it there, okay?
Yeah.
So, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna chop this up. When we come back, we'll give you a look, and then we'll start another process. Okay guys, and you see what I'm doing here? Don't be afraid to take 2 wooden spoons and actually grab that sausage and pancetta and just start pulling it apart right in the pan to get it as fine as you possibly can. Right? You see those bigger pieces? Grab it with one end, pull it apart, almost like you're pulling pork after it comes out of the smoker, you know? So, this is a real important step. Make sure you get that really separated, and away we go. Okay, our next step. Well, my mother is still stirring that, and that's gonna cook probably 25 minutes. Remember, we don't let it brown. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the 3 cups of water in this pan, all right? And we're gonna bring this to a boil. Have your whisk ready, because as soon as that comes to a boil, we're gonna add our beef base and our tomato paste, and we're gonna get this rolling. We're gonna whisk that stuff in, all right? So, we're gonna bring this up, and then we'll be back. Okay, everyone. As you can see, this is well cooked. It's been 25 minutes. It's not brown, but everything is super soft and tender. We have our base over there that's just sitting all done. And now I'm gonna add all 3 ground meats. All right? That's the, for you, that's the pork, that's the veal, right? And the ground beef, okay? And this is where, when you're done, your forearms are gonna look like Popeye, okay? Because now what you need to do is you need to ground this all up in that mixture so that it's super, super fine. And it's not gonna be easy, okay?
Yeah, and what we want to do with this is we want this to become so fine that there's no chunks at all. It looks like it's all
Getting hand
finely ground. And we're actually going to add a little salt and pepper too now.
All right, Ma, I'll let you do the salt and pepper. Yeah, when you're done with this, you're gonna have Popeye forearms. And of course the salt, you know, it's like the gravy episode. How much? It's about that much, you know. And of course we know the blood pressure.
Yep, 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 yep.
All right, so I am gonna stir this and develop my Popeye forearm, and we'll be back when it's done.
And this takes about 10 minutes at least.
Wow, I'm really getting hand cramped.
I know,
Nice.
yeah.
Gotta go with the left hand for a little bit.
Yep.
All right, guys, you can see what that looks like. We've been on medium heat here for about 10-12 minutes, and you can see how fine that is now. No chunks of anything left in there. So now we're gonna hit it with those 2 cups of red wine. Nice, have some wine. Beautiful. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna simmer this down. We're gonna let that evaporate until it's almost gone. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it
give
usually
us
takes about 5 minutes, yeah.
give us 5 minutes, and we'll be back.
Okay, all of our wine is pretty much absorbed. Of course, we have some juices from the meat, which you want. And now we're gonna add our mixture of our beef, our water, and our
Paste.
paste. Thank you. Then we're gonna add our tomatoes.
Remember guys, those are DOP San Marzanos that will hold, that we sent through the food processor.
I'm gonna stir this all up. And then we're gonna add in our bay leaves. And this is gonna simmer. I'm gonna make it come to a simmer, and we're gonna simmer it about 2.5 hours. Later, after 2.5 hours, we'll put in the milk, and the nutmeg goes in at the end. And we're gonna put that milk in the fridge for a while and put the nutmeg aside, but now this is gonna simmer, and 2.5 hours later, we'll be ready for the milk. So this has been cooking, you can see it's starting to get so nice and thick. This has been cooking 3 hours on very, very low. Now, we're gonna add the milk.
Our milk, oh, we also took our 2 bay leaves out, we fished those out, and now we're gonna add a 1.5 cups of milk. Nice.
And we're gonna let this go for another half hour, and then when we're ready to turn it off, we're just gonna grate in some fresh nutmeg.
I told you guys, this is at least a 5-hour process to make this authentic Bolognese.
Okay,
Right?
we'll see you back soon.
So, when that's done in a half hour, we'll be back. We'll show you what it looks like. Then we're gonna boil up our pappardelle from Lily's Fresh Pasta, and we'll be back with that final product.
Okay, so our Bolognese, you can see, is done. It's got nice, all incorporated. It's been cooking a total of 3.5 hours. 3 hours and then a half hour with the milk. Now, Ken, you want to grate some of that nice fresh?
Got the nice
Yeah.
nutmeg right here. And of course, again, this is one of those things. How much is, it's about that much. Ma, you tell me when.
Not the fog, a little bit more.
Oh! Where'd it go? Hey, there it is.
I got another one somewhere if you need it, no?
Nah, we'll continue with this one.
Okay.
All right.
A little bit more.
See? Happens to the best of us.
All right, good.
All right.
Now empty that, yeah.
There we go. Okay, so guys, you can see how much of that whole clove I used. Almost half. So whatever that might be in measurement, it's about that much.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I want to point out to people here is as you let this rest, there's a lot of grease that's going to come to the top. And that's really what makes the Bolognese delicious, is a lot of that beautiful oil from all the meats and the pancetta and sausage. I do skim a little bit off of it, but definitely leave some, because that's really what you want for that beautiful flavor. Okay, Kenny,
All right.
we should boil up some
So,
macaroni?
what we're gonna do is we're gonna boil up that fresh pappardelle from Lily's Fresh Pasta in Everett, Massachusetts. And when we come back, we're gonna be giving you that final product. All right, everyone. We're almost ready. Water's almost boiling, but this is something that I wanna show you, all right? Come in here and take a look at this little pan of Bolognese, okay? See that? Now look at the one that we just made. See that? Okay, what's happening here is Bolognese is something that you don't want to use as soon as you make it. This is something that you want to put in the refrigerator for at least 24 hours. Okay, because what happens is after it chills and it congeals and you look at the container and it's got all that grease and fat in it, but when you go to heat it back up, this is what it looks like. Okay, this is how thick it gets. And this is the way it needs to be. So this, even though it's done, really isn't done. This needs to go in the fridge for 24 hours, and then you reheat it tomorrow, and it turns into this. Now you can keep it in the fridge for several days, or you can put it in containers and put it in your freezer, and it'll be good for months and months. And when you take it out, it's gonna look just like this when you put it in the pan. But it needs that 24 hours in the fridge to congeal, and everything incorporates, and it creates this fantasticness.
Yeah.
See the difference? Come back here one more time. Look at what we're gonna be putting on the pappardelle, and look at what we just finished. You can see the consistency.
Yeah, it's a little thicker, and basically, I actually like not only to wait for it to get thickened and congealed, but I like to get the flavors to all mesh and meld together and really get a chance to incorporate into each other, and that's what really puts that wonderful flavor in.
Okay, so now we are gonna toss in our Lily's fresh pasta pappardelle. And guys, if you've never tried Lily's fresh pasta, I hate to say this, but you're missing out. And I'm sure that a fine Italian restaurant near you is going to be serving this, because most do. And if they're not, you should ask them why, because they should be. All right. So what we're going to do, and now of course this is fresh. This is only going to take, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes, because of course I'm going to be making a little more. I'm going to make about half this. This is 3 pounds. I'm going to make about 1.5 pounds. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, so when we come back, my mother and I are going to be giving you the final product of her unbelievable Bolognese. All right, everybody, here we are. And let me tell you, that was a long 5.5 hours. When we say it takes 5.5 hours, it really does. But now, that final product. Go ahead, Ma, you first.
Oh my goodness. These pappardelles are so good. So if I can get one and just get it.
All right, I'm digging in.
Dig it.
Yeah, they're big, the pappardelles.
Mm.
So, as you guys know, Lily's Fresh Pasta. I'm their new brand ambassador.
Mmm.
Hmm.
Oh, delicious.
How good is that?
Oh.
Guys, I hope you tried this at home. I would love to hear how you make out. Please reach out to me, because I would love to give you some samples of Lily's Fresh Pasta. We have hundreds of different products, all handmade, all with care, that you're absolutely gonna love.
The pappardelle are fabulous.
Mm.
And with the sauce,
Delicious. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please click that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And as always, live, laugh, and cook Italian.
salud.
No wine for me.
Oh, delicious.
I'm going back in.